Welcome back, guys. This is probably going to just be a video about like my dashboard that I'm showing now, some other things, and then just time lapse me driving down the interstate I-69 on the way to Indianapolis, or up towards Indianapolis. So this is my dashboard. It's kind of the same as a regular car, but a few differences, like you have the temperature gauge like every other car, you have the fuel gauge like every other car, you have the miles per hour and the RPM gauge like every other car, and then of course the mileage here that's on the truck. Now, the only difference is I have a DEF gauge here, which DEF is diesel exhaust fluid, for the ones that don't know. And then I have air tank 1, air tank 2. Now, air tank 1, it's 120 to 140 psi. Air tank 2 is 120 to 140 psi. And then also, on my screen here, this is my digital speed, which corresponds with this one here. This is my voltage meter for my battery, which is about 14.2, or should be. This is what gear I'm in, which right now I'm parked, which is why my parking light's on there. So I'm in neutral. This here, when I'm driving down the road, will tell me what my cruise control is, but also on this side will tell me how fast the vehicle in front of me is, if it's close enough. And then of course, what the temperature is here, where I'm at, and my fuel range, how many more miles I can go on the fuel that I have. And then down here is my oil pressure, which is what every other car has, or every car should have this in some way. I know the newer cars now are making it digital along with the temperature gauge, but your older cars, these two gauges will be in there. And then if I come over here, I have my parking brake. This is for my truck, so my truck will not move unless this is pushed in. This one is for my trailer, which of course it says trailer air supply brake and parking brake. Pull to apply, push to release. Again, pull to activate, or evac, and push to supply. Which means this my trailer tires will not roll unless I push this in. So this is on every truck or every vehicle that has air brakes. These are in here for the most part. I know in every semi at least. Then of course I got all my buttons here, which power divider, which is locks my two drive axles in, traction control, my heel assist. This is for my lights in the front. This is for my bunk lights. This here dumps my airbags on the back of my truck, which I'll show you here in a minute. This controls my thermostat and my blower in the back. This slides my fifth wheel, which is what my trailer locks into. This unlocks it so I can unhook my trailer. Heats my mirrors. Parked regen, which is something that new trucks go through. So I'm gonna pause the video and then I'll be outside. Okay. So on the back of the truck here, I have my service air, my emergency air valve, and I have my electric line. I'm trying to do this one-handedly here. Probably won't be able to, but if you look here, my service air line goes there, my emergency air line goes there, my electrical plug is right there on the front of my trailer. Let me get all this hooked up. Okay, so I got it hooked up. This here is the parking brake, or the emergency brakes for the trailer. When I hit my service brake, this is the air line that does that, and this runs all my lights and everything. I'm going to take you back here to the landing gear. So the landing gear is what holds the front of the trailer up so I can back my truck under it. And this here, I turn it forwards, it cranks it up. Turn it backwards, it cranks it down. But since I hooked up to it, I'm going to crank it up so I can move my trailer. And then once I move my trailer a little bit more, I'll be able to crank it all the way up, because if you can tell, that's how close the trailers are. I can't even turn sideways and fit in here. I have to, or face forward and fit between. I have to turn sideways to slide down between these trailers. Bring you back here in a minute when I pull it out and ready to go. Okay, I don't know how good y'all can hear me because it's windy, but again, like I said, crank this forward. Oh, about dropped y'all. Crank this forward, and it cranks up the landing gear. And you want your landing gear all the way up, because if not, if you go over a slight hill or something, you could drag it and rip it off. So, and then always tuck your handle back up so it doesn't drag. So these are called tandems. They are the trailer tires, and we got to slide them forward. And you see that rail with holes in it. These pins, which I'm going to pull this lever, which is going to pull those pins in, so that locks. And then I just back up and it slides them forward all the way up to there, which I slide mine all the way forward because I don't have to worry about weight. But you can slide them and move your weight from the truck to the trailer, or to the trailer, or from the trailer to the truck. Doesn't matter. But I always slide them forward because my cargo weight is so low that it doesn't affect anything having mine all the way forward. But you can also turn tighter with them slid all the way forward too. So I'll be back here in a minute. Okay, so as y'all can tell, my trailer tires were way back there. Now they're as far forward as they can go. So all I gotta do is reach back up underneath here. That slides back in, and then this notch here, I'll up and try to get it in this one. But if it doesn't go in this one, I can pull forward and it'll pop into this hole here. Either one, it doesn't really matter for me. But that's how that works. I'll be right back. Just so y'all see, this is the other side of the truck. Again, my pin's right here. If I back up, it might pop into that hole. If it doesn't, I can pull forward and it'll pop into that one. And you can hear the click when you roll your window down and pull forward or back up. You can hear the click when it pops in. But like I said, they were way back here, and now they're up here. And you got this pin in the front, and you also got a pin back here in the back, which I can't find it right now, but it's probably behind one of these slots here. But there's usually two pins. Here it is. Right here. It's a little farther up than I thought, but there's a pin there, and then there's the pin up there in the front. Be right back. And when I was talking about fifth wheel, that's the fifth wheel, and there's a kingpin that slides in that groove, and then there's a kingpin lock, if y'all can see that. The kingpin's in there with the kingpin lock right there, hiding behind it. So there's that. Okay, back in the truck now. I'm going to show y'all how these knobs work. So to deactivate them, literally push in. Now I am ready to go. I can move. Now to slide my tandems, I have to pop that one out, which locks the tandems, and tandems won't move. If I pull this one out, this one's ready to go now. Or this one parks my truck, so I can't move at all. So that's how those work. You just push them in to activate them, and you pull them out to deactivate them. Now, the brakes do not work if I am under, if I hit 90 psi on my air tanks, I'll have an audible alarm go off, and then my truck being a newer truck and having a auto shift transmission in it, I use air to shift gears. And if I don't have above 90 psi in my air tanks, I can't shift gears. And then when I drop down to 50 psi, my truck will have another alarm start going off. And if I get much lower than that, both those knobs, the yellow and the red knob, will pop out because I don't have enough air to supply air to the brakes on my truck nor my trailer. So that's why as I'm driving down the road, my engine runs an air compressor, which keeps my tanks filled up to 120, 140 psi. So that's the braking system on a Class A and Class B that has air brakes vehicles. These cones to the left, they must have got tired and laid down. These two are working, but all these other ones must have got tired and laid down. So to my right is East Fork White River. Between those trees is the river. Everything outside of those trees is farmland. The water you see on each side of the road is a field or fields. It's farmland. It's not supposed to be water. But that river is so flooded. Everything up here in Indiana and Kentucky is so flooded that it's devastating, really, right now. There's another small creek that I just went over, but it's so flooded that, like, well, you can see the flood water is just taking these fields. Luckily, that farmer to the right, his sprayer is up on high ground. The water didn't get to it, but it's crazy. This is Washington, Indiana. But earlier today, I went through Louisville, Kentucky, and the Ohio River is so high that the lock system in the locks there in Louisville for barges to get through, all you can see is just the top of the walls. You can't see nothing else. If they was to open the locks there, I would say that they would probably flood themselves out, and there wouldn't be a lock system above water. So it's devastating right now with the floodwaters that are going on. I think in Kentucky there's been 4 or 5 deaths due to floodwaters, people drowning or getting swept away. So I'm just pray that everybody gets through the rest of this flooding safely. So if you pray for people, pray for the state of Kentucky and Indiana and any other states or areas that are affected by this major flooding that's going on right now with the Ohio River and all these other small water areas that just can't handle all this rain that we've gotten in the past couple weeks. exit 118, 3rd Street in Bloomington, Indiana. If you take that exit, turn left, go to the next light that's not the exit, and turn into this shopping center over here. There's a what's it called? A drink place called Kung Fu Tea, I think it's called. Um, I highly recommend it. If you come through Bloomington, Indiana on I-69, north or south, take exit 118, 3rd Street, and if you're going north, turn left. If you're coming south, turn right when you exit, and go to the next light that is a shopping center, and turn left. It's in that shopping center. Like I said, it's called Kung Fu Tea. They have really good drinks, really good drinks. That's all I can say, because that's all I had. I got the strawberry lemonade. It's really good, but you can get many different drinks. Highly recommend it. So if you want to stop in there and get that, it's good. Or if you have a Kung Fu Tea somewhere around you, I don't know if they branch out or anything, but if you have one around you, stop in, because they got really good drinks. Really good strawberry lemonade, at least I can say that. But all their drinks are probably good. But I wanted to say thank you for watching this video. If you've watched it this long, if you're subscribed, I want to say thank you to that. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not subscribed and you want to subscribe, just hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. I don't do it every day. I've realized I can't post every day, or I won't have a life outside of driving and posting videos. But I'll try to post 2 or 3 a week, along with some shorts. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're notified. Hit that like button. It really helps me out. It pushes my videos out there. My channel, my main channel here, has skyrocketed with views and subscribers here lately, and I just want to say I greatly appreciate it, and I couldn't ask for anything better. I'm trying to make the best videos I can for y'all. Right now, I've had a few setbacks, but it's not too bad. But I appreciate everything you all do for me and everything y'all do out there. Keep having a great day. If you're not having a great day, I hope your day gets better. But y'all be good out there.